my name is Dr. Manali Desai from If We're a Family. Today I'm going to be talking about the basics of cholesterol and sort of the questions I get a lot in the office from my own patients. So when you get your cholesterol checked or your lipid profile, there's four basic numbers on there. The first number is going to be your total cholesterol. Now your total cholesterol, basically what you need to know is that it needs to be as low as possible. And what lowers it is sort of also what lowers your LDL or your bad cholesterol. That's the second number. Your LDL cholesterol, which is your bad cholesterol, a lot of people call it, that number also needs to be as low as possible because the higher it is, the higher your risk of heart disease is. Now, for most people under the age of 40, the guidelines don't recommend being on medication. They recommend improving your cholesterol with diet and exercise. The number one thing is quitting smoking. So if you quit smoking, that will help the most. You should definitely quit smoking. The second thing is, though, if you change your diet to have less saturated fats and also a well-balanced diet with vegetables and low glycemic index type carbohydrates, that will help your LDL cholesterol as well. And the third thing is exercise, but in this case, it's less important than quitting smoking if you do that and changing your diet. And that's true for most people under 40, except for in a few specific circumstances if you have risk factors. Now, what are those risk factors? Now, the risk factors are, number one, if you have diabetes. Number two, if you have had a heart attack or heart problems in the past. Three, if you have had a blockage in any of the other arteries in your body, like you've had a stroke or something like that. And four is family history. That's what the other thing that ends up being confusing for a lot of people is, like, what is actually a family history in this case? A family history of heart disease in this scenario for your cholesterol, it becomes a risk factor if you had a first-degree family member who had heart disease at a young age. So that means is if your dad or your brother had a heart attack at the age of 55 or younger, or your mom or your sister had a heart attack at the age of 65 or younger. Otherwise, if it's like your grandparents, that's not actually a risk factor for this purpose. Or if your parents had heart disease, in their 70s or 80s, unfortunately, it's a normal process of aging, getting heart disease as you get older. So that's not a risk factor for this scenario. So for most people, diet and exercise, if you're under the age of 40, is the recommendation. Now, if you have different circumstances or if you're older, put that in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer other questions as well. But for most people, this is going to be how the goals of what they're going for. The third number is triglycerides, and triglycerides, the goal for most people is for it to be less than 150. And triglycerides work in a way that, assuming you don't have any other special circumstances, which are, alcohol abuse or pancreas problems, most people, if their triglycerides are high, their HDL or their good cholesterol are going to be low. And the HDL cholesterol helps protect your heart from heart disease. So we want the triglycerides to be low and the HDL to be high. And that's the fourth number, is the HDL or good cholesterol. And the goal there is going to be 40 to 60. Now, if your number is above 60, that's really good. You're doing a really good job. If it's below 40, that's when it starts being a risk, because as it gets below 40, your risk of heart disease is going to start going up. And then that's not good. So how can you help improve your HDL cholesterol? Well, if you're interested in doing that, put your email in the box below and I'll send you my free guide for how to improve your HDL cholesterol. And I'll tell you how I improved my own HDL cholesterol from 31 to 54 and unintentionally lost 10 pounds at the same time. So it's good for losing weight and improving your HDL cholesterol. And if you have any other questions or comments, or have any ideas of what you'd like to see for the next video, put that in the comments below too. And remember, sharing is caring, so send this to someone you love or someone you're even just trying to guilt trip into living longer. And see you next time.